Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Sally Foote and welcome to another one of my Facebook Lives. So today I will be talking about feline body language, and I have my guest here, Mr. Binx. Mr. Binx here. Binx is actually my daughter's cat who is living right now here in Tuscola with us, and he is going to be kind of a model for some of these body language, or how we can read body language more accurately in our kitty cats. I apologize, the link I think I put on the Facebook page this morning just went to the PDF on my own computer and it didn't really take you there. So the handouts that we're going to use today, and this is the one I had linked, and this is my body language ladder of aggression, feline ladder of aggression chart, and you can download this at my website. My website is drsallyjfoote.com. And you go under the veterinary professionals tab. So look to the left, you'll see that veterinary professionals tab. When you click it, it says free publication and resources. Click that page and you'll see different handouts. And as you go down the page, you'll see feline ladder of aggression, and that's what this is. I published this about 2 years ago and we're going to use this today. The second handout, now this one you'll need to get from drsophiayen.com. This is the feline body language of fear I designed for Cattle Dog Publishing when I worked there. And so again, like last week we talked about using the ladder of aggression paired with this image chart, so that way we could really match, how high up this ladder of aggression is what we see, to understand both. So let's talk about the two handouts and about my friend here, Binx. So first of all, let's look at, okay, you can jump off of there. Let's talk about like what we see. So in this handout, you're going to see some of the different things, such as, the cat sitting with their kind of back arched over, and the hair is slightly raised. Now we are not talking about the Halloween cat. The cat who looks like the Halloween cat with the really humped over back and the tail curled over and the hair very puffed up. That is a cat who's highly anxious. At the lower level, this is a cat who's sitting with its tail wrapped around its body, the legs held in close. And as I say, you'll just say to yourself, you look a little fuzzy today. That's that early piloerection or hair raising that is saying this cat is a little bit nervous. And you will see this often in housemates, where one cat is sitting like on a living room floor, just maybe sitting there, he was grooming, and the other housemate now starts to walk by. And then this cat starts to look like this. So this cat is nervous about the other littermate who's walking by, or excuse me, housemate who's walking by. So that's that sign of anxiety. Tail flicking, just that flicking of the tail. Now this could mean they're just kind of interested, like, ooh, I want to pounce on something, I want to play. But it means they're heightened in their awareness. That's what it means. And so that can happen also with when they're anxious. Binx is down here at my feet. Now we also have ears turned back and furrowed brow. So I'm going to get my little model up here. Come here, Binx. Come here, buddy. Okay, because cats, their bodies are smaller as compared to dogs. So it's not as if they're not showing these signs. It's just harder to see because their skull is not as big. And so therefore you don't have as much space over the forehead to see the wrinkling of the brow. And their ears are always erect, with maybe the exception of our Scottish fold breed, who have the smaller folded back ears. So because their ears are always up, that turning of the ear and flattening back may not be quite as pronounced as the larger ear of the dog, which is more obvious to see, but it's there. So how would we hide, Binx? So how do we see, especially in a solid colored kitty cat like this, that maybe his brow is furrowed, which it isn't now, but if his brow was furrowed? Well, here's a couple tips. He is a solid black cat, and solid black, or at least solid black over the head. Yes, he's a tuxedo, so he has both black and white. But solid black animals, dogs, cats, horses, it is more difficult to see like the wrinkles, etc., in their fur, because black does not show shadow to show the contrast. So kind of forgive yourself for me, like I can't tell, if you're only looking at the hair. So what are some other tips? Okay, so the whiskers are here. Yeah, your whiskers are here and they're white, which is nice. And his whiskers are on his, sorry, put your head up, his face here. Now when the brow starts to wrinkle up here, and the muscles come together, what it does is it pulls his whiskers forward. So if you've read things about cats like whiskers forward, when they're nervous, you know, they don't look like they're that much forward. So if you just say, so, those are big whiskers you have, I notice your whiskers, that's because the muscle now is contracting, and it's actually, that is brow furrowing, excuse me. Now look at the shape of Binx's face. Hi buddy, you want to show your face? See, it's kind of a triangular wedge shape. And when his face is relaxed, it's pretty relaxed now, his whiskers are turning back, following the angle of his skull. When he gets nervous, like cats do, and the muscles up here come together to tense up, and just like in dogs, the cat's lips will start to tense. What happens is, as the facial muscles are pulling back and tensing up, the whisker then starts to come forward. Sorry, it comes forward like this. So then you can see that airspace between the whisker going this way and the skull going back this way. So again, if you say, wow, what long whiskers you have, or I notice your whiskers, think that cat's actually a bit tense in his face. And that would be more here, with the brow furrowed and the ears turned back. Like the rotating of the ears, especially kind of that half-cocked sideways, that's when the ears are turned back. Now, of course, we have dilated pupils, okay, and sometimes that may be all you see. And that's, again, that adrenaline rush that's altering the size of the pupils. Now, cowering here, okay, I'm going to let you down there for a little bit. He wants to go down. The cowering here is often really missed. We think the cat is just calm. But when the cat has collected his legs and his body and he's sitting low, he's actually trying to make himself small. And so now, just like we talked about with the dog, let's talk about this ladder of aggression and how we put these two handouts together. So we're very clearly and accurately reading the body language of the cat. That's step one. This is technique one of my low stress handling in cats course, and what you're going to learn in this aggressive low stress veterinary care workshop day on June 7th. Okay, so we start down here at the very green level, excuse me, we say just laying on their sternum with their legs tucked under. So this is a cat whose head is up, he's looking around, but he's just gone like this, you know, just pulled his legs and he's looking up like this. That is that very first level of being anxious. Then as we go up, we have the ear flicking, dilated pupils, and then hair slightly raised over the back. That is going back to, sorry, this level here. So this image here, we are now up at level 4. Okay, see how we're climbing up that ladder of anxiety already. As we go up, we have sitting still or grooming, where you just touch them. And then grooming may be a little bit of a displacement behavior. And then finally, body hunched down with their head down. And that is going to be, sorry, that's here where they're cowering. They're going from just sort of sitting kind of upright with the hair furrowed to now they're really starting to crouch down. They're not all the way down here, okay? But they're starting to crouch their body down. I don't have 8 arms here, I'm sorry. But you see how we're already up at level 6. We're halfway up the chart when a cat looks like that. And now the next things are hiding. So hiding is the cat who's sitting underneath the coffee table, or the cat who is sitting in the carrier in the back half of the carrier. They're not stretching their whole body out to take up the whole room in the carrier. They're hanging in the back, and they also are laying below the level of the seam of the carrier. This is when the cats are coming in for veterinary care or intake exam at your shelter or vaccination clinic, you know, whatever. That's a cat who's hiding, and hiding is actually up here at level 7, level 7 on our ladder of aggression. And when we get this high, we're now in this dark yellow going into the orange stage. This is where the cat will not eat, because as anxiety rises, it literally shuts off the appetite center in the brain. So even though you're giving them the bento flakes, and you've got the tuna, and you've got the hard-boiled chicken, and all the things that they love, and it's really appealing, if they don't have enough hunger to be a motivator for them to want to eat, then they cannot make that association if they're already at a level of hiding. So when we offer food or things like that, it's got to come in down here. They need to be getting it here to help them now make that link and make that learning that, hey, it's not so bad to be here at the veterinarian, not so bad to be in my carrier, etc. Now then, as we go up, that ears turned back, when they start turning their ears back, do you see how we're now starting to shift into the red? They're actually turning their ears back as a way of really like listening for plus showing like, I really want you to stop right now. And then we shift to stare. And staring is the subtle staring. This is where we have a lot of this going on between our housemate cats or even the cat when they're sitting in the carrier or in a cage prior to care or right before you pick them up. And when the stare is going to be just this look that they give you. And then from the stare, they will quickly go to swatting, and then they will pounce, bite, and in the cat, they tend to go to multiple bites. Their pattern of biting is different than in the dog. On this chart, after looking at numerous, frankly, YouTube videos of people showing their cats at the veterinarian getting very upset, if you watched how quickly the cats are escalating through many of these signs, or two housemate cats fighting, or the cat in the backyard that sees the other cat outside, the escalation in most cats is 0.1 second between each step. It's about twice as fast as the dog, and that is normal. So it isn't that our cats are It isn't that our cats are crazy or our cats are unpredictable. They are predictable, yet the small body size is more of a challenge for you to learn how to very carefully observe what they're showing you. Okay, so that's a little different than looking at dogs or humans or horses, but if you're working with cats, you need to learn the skill. And secondly, to recognize and accept that the cat escalates more quickly up through anxiety. I put that on Do Not Disturb and somehow it snuck through. Anyhow, so this is how we use the charts. Hang these two together in all of your treatment rooms, your shelter intake areas. People who have cats as pets, please get both of these handouts, hang them up so you can recognize when your cat is being upset. That's just the first part of the first technique. Now, what do we do with that knowledge, right? So we're going to say, well, hey, Binx, you're down there. But anyway, if Binx went from kind of just a little looking around and slightly dilated pupils to now he's really hunched down, I need to say, what just happened? What just changed in this space that he's sitting in that had him go up this ladder of aggression from dilated pupils at level 3 to level 6 in 0.1 to 2 seconds? Well, it may have been thunder started happening. We're in Illinois. We've had a couple of really bad thunderstorms happening recently, and all of a sudden you hear rumble, rumble, rumble with thunder, and Binx is a little nervous about thunderstorms. Well, he'll go underneath the couch while it's rumbling, and when that happens, he'll go from whoo and underneath there. So I would say to himself, what just happened? Thunder rumbled. So he's fearful of the thunderstorm. Now, then we'd get into his storm plan and work on his storm plan, yet that's the trigger. His trigger for his anxiety is thunder. So maybe I will move him to another room where he won't hear the thunder so much. I may start to play the music. So it helps to muffle out the thunderstorms, because thunder sounds. Because when you now identify the trigger, what just happened? Thunder. Somebody walked in the room, a loud child, or maybe a person, and they're fearful of that person. Now then I say, well, can I eliminate the trigger? Can I get the person out of the room? Can I get the cat? So can we get the trigger away from the animal, or the animal away from the trigger? Can we remove the cat, put the cat in another room? If that is not possible, then the second level, this is all trigger management. Reducing anxiety and aggression is all about identify the trigger, then you identify the trigger based upon the animal's response by the body language charts, and then you say, can I eliminate that trigger? If I cannot, then I need to reduce how frequent and how intense it comes to them, and then we pair the rewards to counter condition and desensitize the animal to this trigger. So let's say in the case of Mr. Binx here, let's get you back up here, buddy, because I think people would like to see you. Come here. Oh, there you go. All right, so let's just say Mr. Binx just heard a roll of thunder, okay? And I can't stop the weather. And I know more rolls of thunder may come. Well, these are his little, you can see he's interested, his little temptation treats. So then I would say, okay, we're gonna have a little rolling thunder happening here, Mr. Binksy boy. And now, oopsie, he hasn't gone to hiding under the couch. It was the first one, and he did the look around, and no other thunder came. Okay, the trigger stopped. So he started to de-escalate. He started to relax. Now is when I'm going to give him some of these treats broken up in very small pieces, and I'll figure if this is coming out of your dinner, dude, you won't get as much for dinner because you're getting calories now. So then when the next roll of thunder comes, as I have him busy eating, because he has to be feeling less anxious to be able to eat. And then the act of eating is actually bringing him a happy memory, something that he likes. So he continues to go down further on this ladder. So then when the next roll of thunder comes, he might only go up to dilated pupils, or perhaps just kind of sitting still for a second. You see, he'll go up, but he won't go up quite as high. And then I continue to give him the treats, and this becomes now his counter conditioning. He has learned a different experience in the face of this trigger. Now, I want to just explain another few points on this ladder of aggression, especially when it relates to our cats. So, cats, when they are escalating, like once they get to stare, because they move much more quickly through this, they 0.1 seconds is basically twice as fast as the dog. They get up to staring and, stare, swat, then bite more quickly. Once they get up to stare, any motion at all, any noise at all, or at any touch at all is going to be a stimulus to their body that will quickly just trigger them right up to bite, swat, bite. It is really, really important that if you catch that cat looking like that at you through the cage, you immediately decrease as much noise in the area as possible. And do not move closer to that cage, because even you moving, that's movement. Moving closer to the cage as the cat is staring is going to, you are the threat to the cat, and you're coming closer. So they are going to, they get more tense, and they're getting primed to swat and bite you. And this is what so many of our, technicians, assistants, shelter volunteers, and cat owners, they miss. That we miss the staring. And so when they're like, oh, I want to pick my cat up, or I need to pick my cat up, or I need to get this cat out of the cage, even though they're staring, they reach right in, and then the cat explodes on them, jumping on them, and when they bite, and they're bite, bite, bite like this, because the cat actually wants to bite and escape. That tends to be the nature of the cat with their biting behavior. They wonder, how in the heck did this happen? So really, when you watch for that stare, think where you have to stop all the noise in the area, and if you need to make any movement, you have to hide the movement from the cat. So how do we do this? This is where you get creative with use of, say, a blanket to shield, to hold up and block the cat's view as you may reach in, say, the cage to get the bowl out, or if, say, Binx was my pet cat and I needed to pick him up off the floor, he was, say, very afraid of something that was noisy. Let me take this down off of here. Maybe there was a big noise, and let's say, for example, I'm going to get a new refrigerator. Okay, that's a pretty noisy thing to come in the house. And I didn't realize how he would get so upset about the sound of, the door opening and this delivery cart coming in with the refrigerator on it. And he immediately gets the big eyes and the stare, but he's frozen. He's not now moving out, and I realize, oh boy, you're getting upset. If I just did this and reached for him, my hands are moving, and it's very, very likely he would turn and bite on my hand. But I want to get him out of here, right? I can't remove the delivery of the new refrigerator. Remember I said, get the trigger away from the animal, or the animal away from the trigger. I want to get him away from the delivery of the refrigerator. But if I reach with my hand, about guaranteed I'm going to get bitten, and a cat bite is really bad. So what do? In that case, have a blanket handy. Sorry, buddy. And have a blanket handy, because how this is going to help you is you're going to take the blanket, and by quickly covering with the blanket, you see how it hides. He doesn't want to be covered. Hides my hands, and then if I pick him up like so, even if he tries to bite, he's got the blanket around him. Sorry. He has a blanket around him that's going to protect me. And I know in that moment, you might say, oh, that's not nice for the cat. Yeah, in that moment, it's better than him escaping out the front door and getting hit by a car, or suddenly redirecting his aggression because I took one step and biting me in the ankle, biting me in the foot, or the delivery people, and attacking them, going up their legs. We hear these stories. We know these incidences happen. And this is where it all starts, is we did not understand or recognize that the cat was already this high just for those sounds. So let's think ahead, right? Let's be preventative. If we know in general, you know, as I said, those 3 triggers to anxiety and aggression in the cat are movement, touch, and noise. So if we know we're going to have a noisy event, why don't we set up the cat, you know, kind of the cat condo, right? The cat room, where we can put our cat in there with their food and their water and their litter box, and you just chill out and have a great day. Now, if the cat is very social and likes to be with everybody, maybe he'll be meowing and wanting to come out. All right, when that cat comes out, then when people come over, maybe it's children, or again, you're having a delivery of something, let's give something good for the cat to happen when that noise happens, when this movement happens. So what I would do is I would know, okay, my delivery people are coming in. I would have my treats, and I would be tossing them to Binx to keep him more in the corner, away from the delivery of the refrigerator. So it prevents him from, possibly escaping out the door if he does start to get nervous. Secondly, I already have something good happening for him, for the sound of the delivery of the refrigerator, the movement of the cart and the delivery people. And that is what's helping him then be happy about, oh, delivery people are coming at the house. And I'm always thinking of how his body language is, and that experience becomes a good one for him. And lastly, it trains him to stay away from all this activity so that we're safe. So these are the handouts, as I said. This one is available on my website. Go to drsallyjfoot.com. Look to the left for the Veterinary Professionals tab. Click the free resources, and just scroll down the page where you see Feline Ladder of Aggression. This one is available at drsophiayin.com. You need to go in the shop. Scroll through the shop. I believe they still have the posters. This is the feline body language of anxiety or fear in there, and you can download this. To learn more about aggression and anxiety in cats, please attend my live streaming 7-hour workshop Sunday, June the 7th. This is it's going to be a continuing education credit, race approved, for veterinarians, veterinary technicians. It is also CCPDT approved, and I have applied to IAABC for this approval for continuing education for our trainers and non-veterinary behaviorists. So this will be live streamed, kind of like this. I have, staying within the COVID-19 safety guidelines for the state of Illinois, I will have a few live attendees here in Tuscola at my Bella Behavior Learning Center, yet then we are going to live stream it. So you will have the PowerPoints to follow, but it's going to be the next best thing to being there. And I will have live demonstration of these handling techniques, especially with how to be safe when we are handling those who are aggressive, how to recognize the brewing aggression before they get up there. And then secondly, if they do start to rise up to aggression, how to safely use our tools in a low stress way. Yes, you can use a rabies snare in a way that is less stressful to a dog who is cornered and is already showing aggression. Yes, you can use an Elizabethan collar to have that will reduce stress for that patient and provide protection from you from possible biting, muzzles, and also handling gloves. I will also have a topic on using telehealth and telemedicine consults for safe patient care. And lastly, I will cover the topic of behavior euthanasia. You can find out about this day. You can register for it at my website, Dr. Sally J. Foote, and go again under the speaking events under the veterinary behavior tab. And then there are links to the registration, and there's also a brochure that you can download. If you have any questions at all about that day, please just email me, and I look forward. I look forward to people attending. We've had quite a few sign up, and through the live streaming, we have plenty of room for attendance that way. That's about all I wanted to cover today. I appreciate everybody watching. I'm seeing people, showing that they're watching. If you have any comments, I don't think I've seen any on here, but if you have any comments, please go ahead and put them underneath the video. Share this with people. I am also going to put these videos up on my YouTube channel so that it's easier to find them, to go back to these. And I look forward to meeting you again next Wednesday. I'll be doing these Facebook Lives every Wednesday at about noon. So take care and stay safe.